Well, hi, my hustlers. Okay, now I haven't filmed a video in a while, but I wanted to welcome you guys back to my channel. And basically, today I have a really fun video that hopefully a lot of you guys could learn from because I've been seeing something on social media that I'm like not impressed with. I've been seeing some things not only just online but in life, and I just wanted to discuss it. I want to make it fun and interesting in a way that you guys will be able to understand it. So if you guys didn't know, my degree, my bachelor's degree was in marketing, and not that that really means anything because anyone could learn brand strategy. You could learn it from the internet, you could learn it from real life. Anyone could learn it, but I did go to school for it, and it is one of my passions in life. I actually want to talk today about something that is really important, and that is having competition in your marketplace. How to compete in your marketplace. Now, a lot of people might think that competition is 100% a bad thing, but it can be a good thing. You know, you don't want to look like you're tearing down someone else just because you're trying to build yourself up. You need to be able to build yourself up without tearing someone else down. And that is the most important thing when you enter a market. And so I want to make it really easy for everyone to understand, and that way I'll talk about two people that everybody knows, and that's Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. And also I'm going to bring into a third person who is Megan Thee Stallion. So Nicki Minaj started rapping the early 2000s, basically came to become popular around 2009, around there. And she was brought in the game by a male rapper, by Lil Wayne, who was the biggest rapper at that time. She was gorgeous, super pretty, very girly, very like comical and like characterish. It was really cute. I was 15 at that time. I remember I was 15 or 16, like at a track meet, the first time I ever heard Nicki Minaj. And I loved her. She was super cute. She's Barbie. She talked about writing her raps in pink ink, and I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. You know, in a couple of years, Nicki Minaj really changed, and I think everybody could attest to this. She became more of a pop artist, and you could tell she was really going for a pop audience. Every red carpet she was doing these very like Lady Gaga-esque outfits, really not even an outfit, a costume, which there's nothing wrong with that. She really wanted to stand out, but at the same time it kind of made her lose her base a little, and I kind of drifted away from, you know, being her extreme fan, but at the same time I still liked her, but she wasn't my fave anymore as much as she was in her mixtape days. And she went on with her career. Basically, over her 10-year career, there was from 09 to, or even before, into the mixtape days. It's about 10 years, 07, 08, 09, all the way up to 2017. There was no real competition for Nicki Minaj. And that was until she was dissed hugely by Remy Ma, and around the same time that Remy Ma dissed her, Cardi B, who had some mixtapes out, who was on Love and Hip Hop, got a huge label push. And of course people love Cardi B. I'm not gonna say like the label is what made her popular. People loved her already, but in order to have a #1 song like Bodak Yellow that you hear every single place you go, like there is a label and business behind that. So Cardi B was the first real threat to Nicki Minaj, and you could tell that she was pretty disturbed. So basically, not only was she dissed by another female artist, Remy Ma, who we love Remy Ma. I love her. I think that she really represents New York. And she's very, tough. Now I think when I first remember her, I think of her as like pretty but tough, and now I just think she's like so glam and so gorgeous. She looks amazing. After having a kid, her kid like infused the beauty into her more than she already had, and she looks great. But Remy Ma, she is a rapper from New York. She went to jail. She was on Love and Hip Hop. After she came out of jail, her husband is Papoose, who's another like great rapper from New York, and people love them on like the underground level. But she never really hit like the pop stardom of like a Nicki or a Cardi. Just to be honest, she had I believe her song was Conceited. She was part of Fat Joe Terror Squad. Like she, I know she tours and she does shows and stuff like that, but she just never has been at that pop level of a Nicki or Cardi. But she did go and diss Nicki Minaj, being that they're both from New York, being that they're both female rappers. No one else was really gonna diss Nicki, so why not Remy? So she went after her with Sheether. 7 minutes of like bar after bar after bar of Nicki. Nicki really didn't respond. She responded in a kind of roundabout way. Didn't really work. Didn't hit. She basically lost the beef. Then Cardi had the push. It really seemed when Cardi came out that Nicki was kind of trying to get herself into Cardi's fan base. To me, like the first real record that Nicki had that was like a hit after Cardi came out was Rake It Up, which is a song about the strip club, and we all know that Cardi came from the strip club. So to me, it was kind of like, okay, like you're gonna now take the strip club vibe. She dissed Cardi in a bar, like I didn't have to strip to get the pole position, meaning that like the pole position is like the first place in a car race, and she said I didn't have to strip to get the pole position. And it's like, okay, that's like, okay, you're saying Cardi B is number one right now, but she was a stripper, so that completely, means that she does not deserve it because she was a stripper. And that's rude, and nobody's gonna stand for that right now. And you just made a whole song about strippers and have Blac Chyna in your video. Again, just to prove that, you had some relationship with strippers, which the strippers are definitely like more Team Cardi B. I mean, everyone likes something different, but that's not the only fan base that you're caring about. Mostly you're probably caring about like kids, families, people, like, no offense, but like white people listen to the radio. Like that is what you're competing for. You're not competing for the girls who listen to trap music and who dance to the underground music. Like that's not who you're competing for. Like your music doesn't even get played in these clubs barely, except for the very upscale clubs that like old white people go to. I don't know what happened about a year ago at the Harper's Bazaar party. Like, there was a fight that happened, and it just seems like Nicki just continually was going after Cardi after Cardi after Cardi, and it was ruining her credibility, ruining her legacy. Like every single time she went after her, it just seemed like she was kind of a hater, and Cardi's star was just rising and rising and rising. And this is just a story about competition. So when you have a competitor in your market, right, you have to make it positive. You might feel hurt, but you cannot show that it hurts, and you really need to make it for your benefit. And it should be for your benefit. You shouldn't even have to like act like it's for your benefit. It should 100% be for your benefit, because if not, you're gonna end up looking like a hater. And it's bad customer service. Your customers are going to hate you for that. It's really not good customer service. Like when you go after someone, you attack someone, you're not gonna win more customers that way. You're going to lose because you seem like a hater. So you shouldn't do that. That's what Nicki did basically, and it makes her seem like a hater, and she's still going after Cardi like in her radio shows. It's really sad because Nicki, and like, she did something very recently, which is, her retirement, which is a whole nother story, another video, but she's been going after her continually. Number one reason why you should enjoy competition is because it makes your market more credible. When you have competitors in the field, it seems like a real market. Like okay, if you even look at soda, something that's so big, you have Pepsi and you have Coke. We could just have Coke. But because we have Pepsi and Coke, and then now Pepsi and Coke have bought so many smaller brands, but even in that, like, those smaller brands at one time were competitors. Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Sierra Mist, and 7 Up, and whatever. I don't really know, like, that business, like, how much, like Coke and Pepsi invented those other brands, and how much of those brands created themselves and then were bought by Coke and Pepsi. But you can see what it is. There are competitors. There's a broad range of soda, and it makes more people just want to buy all the sodas. And when more people want to buy all the sodas, then your soda is going to have more sales. That's the same thing. If there's more female rappers, then there's going to be more of a market for female rappers, and then you will be better off as a female rapper than if there were just you. And even if you look at what Nicki Minaj went through when she was in, like, her Meek Mill stage, and she was with Meek, she was coming out with songs, she changed her look completely, she went really, like, normal. People were saying, like, oh, she, like, kind of fell off with the weird stuff, and it wasn't that she fell off with the weird stuff, it's she had no competitor. There were no women rappers out. Like, there was, okay, Snow the Product, love her to death, she never hit to pop. Iggy Azalea hit to pop, but that, flopped. She said the N-word or whatever she did, right? Nicki Minaj did not have an actual competitor. All these, B-words are my son, but she had no sons. Like, there were really no other rap girls. And I always questioned that in her lyrics. I was like, who are the other rap girls she talks about? Like, she always talks about the other rap girls, and, like, who are they? Like, there are none. Now, with Cardi B, there are a lot of rap girls. Like, I can name a ton of rap girls. Asian Doll, Cuban Doll, you have Suki Hana, you have Rico Nasty, you have Meg, which is coming up. I'm going to talk about Meg. You have all these girls. I'm leaving so many out. There's so many popular ones. You even have Dream Doll, Cash Doll, like, all these girls that I can name. Like, 5-10 years ago, I could not name, like, I just named 7 off the top of my head, and there's more that I know. And even, like, Rhapsody, she's like, coming from another angle, but she's still a female rapper. It's like all these rappers, all these women rappers, it's bringing a bigger market for women rappers. Now I pay attention more to women rappers. Like, to be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention to even Nicki before Cardi came out, and then all these other girls came out. Like, I wasn't paying attention to it that much. And it's bringing her. I'm sure that even though her sales were not that good for the album, like, they were really good. She just didn't get the #1 spot because it's just Travis's years, his time. But her album probably did well. She couldn't tour in the U.S. because people are mad at her and they're not going to pay to go to her show. But she's getting more attention, and that's why she's doing press. She's doing her Queen Radio. She's doing personality work because people want to pay attention to her. They just don't really want to go to her show right now. Probably they want to save their money for the Cardi show, but that's another story. But she is getting, more attention. I feel like she's getting more. I loved her song Good Form. I think that's, like, a great song and a great video. And I'm paying more attention to her now with a competitor than her before, because you can only be the best. You can only prove that you are the best if you have competitors. If you're by yourself in the game, like, you can't prove you're the best. So if you want to prove you're the best, then you have to have competitors. Be the best. Be the top one. An example that I also read, and I talked about soda, but there's another example of bottled water. There was a time that nobody even drank bottled water. When there became competitors, now you have Aquafina, Dasani, Poland Springs, and Zephyr Hills, or whatever. You have all these competitors, more people want to drink bottled water. Now people, like, only drink bottled water. Nobody drinks, like, fountain or tap water. Everybody drinks bottled water because the market is bigger, because there's a lot of competitors. And when there's more competitors, there is more room for a market. Now then you have to compete for market share, but there's a bigger market to have a share of in the first place. Do you want to have 5% of 100 or 5% of 100,000? It's up to you, So when there's a bigger market, there's more market share. You don't want to be petty. You don't want to go against your competitor. And that's where I'm going to go into the part of this where I talk about Megan and how Megan is actually competing in the rap market. Stallion. Now, she is a perfect example of another competitor coming into the market. So you had Nicki at first. Nicki really didn't have a competitor. Now you have Cardi. Cardi is Nicki's competitor. And then there's all these other rap girls. Now Megan is really the third. And maybe you could add on the City Girls. When JT comes out, whenever JT comes out, we're going to see what the City Girls are really going to do, because they already did enough without her being there. And we're going to see what they're really going to do. But right now we have, let's just bring it to Cardi, Nicki, and Meg. Meg is coming into a market that is small. Female rappers. Rap is big. Female rap is small. Pretty small market. Bigger than it once was, but pretty small market at the same time. She is coming in with an ability to compete with the people in the market. Why? Because she's differentiating herself. So differentiation is one way that you can run your business so that you can compete. Not everyone can have the same thing. You can't have 10 bottled waters and they're all the same. You have Pellegrino, you have Zephyr Hills. It is a little bit different. You know, the price points are going to be different. One comes in a glass bottle, or one comes in a plastic bottle. You have to differentiate yourself from the market. Even if it's just, you know, this one has a green label, this one has a blue label. You have to differentiate yourself. And the thing that Megan is doing is differentiating herself from what's already in the market. And I think it is a little bit harder for Nicki. First of all, Nicki's a little bit older. We already know Nicki. But with Nicki and Cardi, they're a lot more similar. They're both Trinidadian. They're both from New York. You know, they both have the same accent. They both went to performing arts school. Like, they have a lot of similarities that it's easy to just say, like, okay, Cardi's gonna take Nicki's spot. But with Megan's coming from the South. She's from Houston. She is coming in with something different that Cardi's not offering. But they're both twerking. They're both, you know, in these cute outfits. But, you know, Megan is not Hispanic. Megan is not Caribbean. She's an African American from the South. She's from Houston, and that is what she's playing with. She's, you know, really cornering on her Houston heritage and, you know, bringing in Pimp C references, bringing in blaxploitation references. She is definitely a black girl, not Caribbean, not from New York, and that's how she's able to differentiate herself. And even though she does a lot of the same things that these other girls do, she's really making a little market for herself. She's similar enough where you could say she's a real competitor. She's in the top 3. Like, she's in the spot, you know, where she needs to be. She's not one of these, like, you know, oh, she's just like an Instagram model who has, like, you know, SoundCloud link. Like, she is a real rapper. She is competing in the top 3, but she's different. You know, and that is what you have to be. You have to make your brand different. And if you don't do that, then how are you going to compete? You have to make it a little bit different. Whether you're going to be different in look, whether you're going to be different in personality, whether you're going to be different in your dress, you have to be a little bit different, you know. And in any business, this is what goes. If you are working in a club and there's 100 girls there, you have to be a little bit different. Now, what you could say is there's 100 girls and there's 1,000 customers. Not everyone could get to the customer, and that's just an example. I know that's like barely gonna happen, but you know, you have to get to the customers you can, but you also have to make yourself differentiated. You know, girls do that with tattoos, girls do that with hairstyles, girls do that with outfits, but the most simple way you can do it is with your personality and your sales skills. And this goes for any business. So, you know, the best thing about competition is that it actually creates more room for innovation. So, what I mean by innovation, if there's more people, then more people are competing and more people want to win. That means that they're going to be willing to innovate and change things to make things better. The example I could think of easily is cell phones. So cell phones, at one time, there was new cell phones coming out all the time. Now we have the same iPhone, same Samsung. They're all flat screen. They're the same thing. It's the same thing every time. So as much as I love my iPhone and I need it to, you know, talk to my friends and talk to people that I know, you know, there's not so much innovation in the phone world anymore. And, you know, that's the same in a lot of industries. In order to have innovation, you need to have competitors. So look at your competitors as a good thing. Do not try to disparage your competitors. You can build the tallest building. You don't have to break down other people's buildings to do that. And I just listened to that today from Gary Vee, and I'm like, that is the smartest thing. And it completely goes with what I'm saying. You don't have to knock someone else down to be the top. You can just be yourself and get to the top. The more people there are, is the more ability for other people to see you and take you seriously. Because at one point, they weren't taking women rappers seriously. They're like, Nicki is the only exception. And, you know, even at that, they're like, well, Nicki is a pop star and Nicki doesn't really rap anymore. And Nicki has the nail polish deal and whatever else. She was not being taken as seriously because she did not have competitors. Then she was going to the pop world because she didn't have competitors in the rap world. Now she's actually rapping because she has someone to rap with. And that's why, and Nicki, if you're watching this, but you're not, but I wish you were, girl. You need competitors to have a market in the first place. So that's one of the reasons why she even went to pop. There was no other women rappers, so she couldn't really rap. Lil' Kim had Foxy. Nicki didn't have anyone for the first 10 years of her career, and now she's, you know, she's gracefully bowing out, basically. But if she had someone, and Cardi needs Megan. They don't need to beef and fight and, you know, like Kim and Foxy did, but they need each other to grow and to grow women rap as a whole. And that's also what you need. You need a competitor to have a proper business. So thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys liked it a lot. You guys can follow me at all my links below. The social media is all at the same handle as this username. And I thank you guys again for watching my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Keep hustling.